Hey guys, welcome to another fun and exciting Iron Mike GT7 stream. This is another track trial run to show you how to get around the track as best as you can, hopefully. So let's see, Western Australia starting at 9 o'clock. This is at Cedegna Road Track B. I think it's an afternoon race, so the track is reasonably warm. It's a one-make race with the Toyota Yaris, four-wheel drive, 10 laps, grid start, 1 times fuel, so plenty of fuel to get 10 laps done, and sports hard tyres at times 18. I've done a number of tests to try and reduce the tyre wear to get 10 laps done. Doesn't seem to matter what I do. The front right hand tyre, going around all these tight left hand corners, will wear that front right hand tyre down. But I do believe if you're relatively conservative, you will make the 10 laps with about 2% of your tyre remaining. I recommend you do a custom race on this track to have a look at how you're driving and how your tyre wear compares with the 10 laps. So we're gonna go over the track and the car. I'll just explain a few things. Starting off with the car setup that I have, and grid start, how to start the race, and how to your revs, your gear change, gear choices for corners, what you're aiming for on each corner, blah blah blah, to get the best time. I think I've hit my best time now. I did record it just not long ago, and so I'll show that after this quick explanation. So it looks like a nice sunny afternoon. I have done some test runs and it looked like it was an afternoon race. I did do a morning one, and the grid start, the tyres were spinning a lot, and I thought it wasn't like that in the time trial practice, so I've gone for the afternoon. Settings for the car, sports hard tyres of course. During the race, no traction control required, and for me, for my driving style, I've chosen to have active stability management, ASM, off, and counter steer on strong. I seem to get my best times with counter steer on strong. So we're going to get into it, and I'll go over the grid start first. It's always good to try and get things in order. It is a little bit understeery if you push the car too hard, so you just got to be mindful of that. Like it wants to slide out, so it needs to be a bit gentle on the tyres on the corners. So I'm just going to pick around here. Here we go, down here. It looks like it is a bit of a down slope. Alright, so again, I'll just show you some options. So I believe second gear isn't the best. It bogs down a bit. That's a bit slow. It's a bit slow. So I'd recommend first gear, but without traction control. It's not too bad actually. Bugger. Yeah. Looks like as we're flattening out a bit, it does squeal. If you come down here where it's flattening out, if you're up the front of the grid, that's not too bad actually. Oh, we're not. Oh, we are past grid start. Unless people are starting a bit further down, it's possible. I was going to recommend traction control 1 in first gear, and then take it off. So I'm not going to go flying around here because I'll show you that later. So on the grid start, you're probably going a bit slower on entry. So around the 100 meter board, I would start braking, getting down possibly into second to get rid of some speed, then into third and cut this corner. If you don't, you'll be sliding out into that gravel. Try your best to cut the corner. Riding over that curb a bit, sticking into third as much as you can, and then gearing late to make this corner, because you will find yourself sliding out here, so you might need to lift just before this red barrier here on the right. Just before that red barrier is where I'd start braking, because there's a lot of speed in fourth, down to third, down into second to get rid of the speed, and then back into third, just to get rid of all that side drifting out to the right. I would keep it in third gear here, and then around here, this is like a sleeping dragon or sleeping giant. You got to be as neat and quiet and careful around this bit, or there is a lot of sliding. So in third at full revs, I would gently be bringing it off and gently bringing on the brakes a bit, just to kill off some of that speed. And then when you're rolling around, literally, I would then into fourth gear and then start pushing hard. Downhill, you probably could brake a little bit early into fifth, because you got that downhill assistance. Going as fast as you can. Now halfway between, and I've gone well past it, halfway between the shadow of that board above, halfway between that shadow and that orange board just on the or barrier just on the left hand side there, halfway between that is when I'd be braking from fifth at full speed, of course, braking down to fourth, third, down to second to kill a lot of the speed, and then back into third. Now around here, this is a bit of a bump on that corner. So if you're going a little bit too fast, you go up over that bump, you will start to slide over to the left hand side. So as you come around here, you really want to bite this curb and be aiming for up the hill, because you will get thrown a bit over to the left. And if you're on the outside of someone and they get thrown, you'll get thrown with them. So do your best to take the corner sharper than what it is, because you will get thrown out. Try your best to stay in third, because you've gone down a second, back up a third. There's about a dark stain right here, which is my brake point. Start trail braking. I do occasionally just drop it in a second to kill a bit of speed. Back in a third, taking this corner. Again, there'll be some right hand side sliding. Be struggling to stay on track, and then up to fourth at a certain point around here, and then try and stay near, on, or inside that curb. Again, more drifting to the right. And then around here, I've got my braking area on track. Just before I begin to brake, down into third to kill a bit of speed momentarily, back up into fourth. Do your best to take that curb, and you should line up around here, and right at the end of this curbing here, you're aiming for about 140, 145 kilometers an hour. If you're doing less than that, then you're working that little chicane corner bit a little bit too hard. You're losing a lot of speed. But back in the fourth, trying to hit 145 and continue on down to the start finish line, which has a barrier, a bridge, a sign above it. When you go under through that shadow, you're looking to be doing 190, 195 kilometers an hour. Then you know, so this one here, 190, 195, then you know you're doing a good speed. So that was the grid start run. Second lap, you will come down there at full speed. So we've just passed 200, 150, so about the 120, which for me, at the end of this shadow of this tree, is when I start braking from 5th, I think it is. Braking from 5th, down to 4th, down to 3rd, trying to stay as wide as you can, and again down into 2nd, back into 3rd. Now 2nd is just to kill a lot of that speed. Again cutting that corner. I'll just go a little bit faster now, trying to tuck into this curb, holding onto 3rd as much as you can, and then before you peak out up into 4th, you'll be drifting out, so you got to sort of throttle and stay on track. Before the red barrier, hit the brake, down to 3rd, down to 2nd, in a straight line. Don't turn or it should be sliding. And then back into 3rd. You've killed a lot of the speed and momentum. Back into 3rd, you should maintain traction. And then continue on. Sorry, I've gone to 3rd, 4th there. Into 3rd. So off the accelerator, on the brake, and then into 4th and start bringing that accelerator back on. I've gone way too early for 5th there, but anyway. So I'll slowly get faster and faster, and then I'll show you my final high. Halfway through here, braking 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, back up to 3rd. You will get thrown out, probably end up out here. Crossing in 3rd, crossing over. Start trail braking down a 2nd to kill a bit of speed. Trying to keep it tight because you'll get thrown out here. 4th, trying to tuck in because further out you are, the higher chance you'll be on that grass. Before my markers, I don't know exactly where, and hopefully about the 140, 145 at the end of that curb. Changing about 185, so I'm hitting 193 there, it's not too bad. Now 120 board, or there is no board, but at the end of that shadow, down a 2nd, back in a 3rd, chew a bit of that curving to stay on track, hanging out 3rd for as long as you can, lifting a bit, you can feel it sliding out. Before that red board, start braking 4th, 3rd. Now I should have been 4th then 3rd. I'm going to stay in 3rd here. Lift and brake, gentle, gentle. It's not too gentle, I'm chatting too much. But if you push it too hard, you hear all that tyre squeal. It means you're working too hard, you're losing time and momentum. I want to try and maintain some level of traction. Halfway through, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, back to 3rd. I thought I took that quite well, and yet still went a bit wide. Trail brake 2nd, back to 3rd, chew that corner. I want to get this one right. Start getting it wrong, you got to lift. Just before my red markers, I lift, brake, back in a 4th. Don't cut those corners or else you get a penalty. So when I'm calm and comfortable, I should do a 36, 37. That's a 38. I did make a few mistakes. So again, at the end of the shadow here, bang. Hang it out, 3rd, 4th. You really want to start turning in early to allow for that drifting going out. Ooh. Brake, 2nd, back to 3rd. It's better. Leave it in 3rd. There's heaps of fuel. Gentle around here. Into 4th. Start pushing. Go to 5th, a touch early here. Going downhill. Let the hill do most of the work for you. Halfway through the shadow on that orange board. 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Wasn't the best, but it was passable. Down a 2nd. Bit of trail braking, cut that corner. Try and get this right. So hard. A little bit late, you start going wide. You got to lift. And then fourth to third, back to fourth. 142 I think was there. 185, change gears. 136, it's okay. My fastest time is 135.469. I hope you learned something there, guys. All the best with your races. It's probably going to be ugly. I don't know if I'd want to start from the back. I always like to do it. I'm tempted to my first race start from the back, but one-make cars, it's so hard to get a good run on someone unless they're making silly mistakes. It's always good to try it. Now is your time to do the work, and get your best time up and try and hit it as often as you can so you are ready on the day in qualifying to get the best time up the front. Another bit of side advice from me is when it's qualifying time and you get out onto track, if you're in the middle of a crowd, I would get out of it, trust yourself and start again. No one's around you, and you'll probably find the first 3 people might put in a good time, but everyone else behind them, because they're stuck, they end up slowing each other up and they don't do their best time. If you've got a clear track, you've got the whole track to yourself. You can brake when you want and move where you want without worrying about anyone else. Yeah, that's my advice. Just keep clear of people. I don't know if in qualifying, you know, yeah, there'll be slipstream, but you use it, you get past someone, they're right on your backside. It's not good. A pack of cars, high chance of penalties as well. I'd be keeping clear. Get out there on your own. So usually for me, if there's not much time, I like to get out early, and if I'm in a pack, I just slow down, let them all go, and just wait for everyone to get clear, and then be the dark horse at the back, getting ready to pounce for P1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Alright, that's it from me, guys. Watch it over again if you weren't too sure. Ask me questions if you're not too sure. It's not the fastest time in town, that 135.469. But it's up there. I'm a B driver, and sort of midfield B driver, so that's a pretty good time for a B. I'm going to put up now on the screen my recording of that lap and some others, and leave it to it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you don't mind. Put in a comment. Please subscribe if you're into GT7, and good luck with your race. Bye for now.